Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. We are on SpeedGaming today, and we are going to bring you the final game of the Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 2. We have the Skullwoods Division representative, Team Awesome, on the left. We have the Lost Woods representative, Team Kappa, on the right. And we got to this match by playing a long regular season and some long playoffs. And we're here now. Team Awesome, 14-0 in the regular season. 3-0 against Team Hime in the division finals. 3-1 against the Last Locationers in the conference semifinals. And 3-1 against the Findrana Drifters in the Dark World Conference finals. Team Kappa, 13-1 in the regular season. 3-2 reverse sweep against Team WJP-TBB in the conference finals. 3-0 against Team CLW in the conference semifinals. And 3-1 against Team Kinda Rando Retired in the Light World Conference finals. Setting up this match, where Gammachuu took down Yoshi in Game 1 and set up his partner 1-up to take a 2-0 lead by beating Hitsuyan in Game 2. Game 3 saw things turn around a bit for the defending league champions Team Awesome as Ramond took down Fear Agent, and Yoshi turned it around and took down 1-up to set up this Game 5 for all the marbles. This is it. There is no more past this. Winner wins. And calling this game today, I am Reg, and I am joined by Philium. So, hello,
Reg,
Philium.
thank you so much for that by-the-numbers recap of everything we've seen from these two teams. It is actually really good for putting things in perspective. But, I'm sorry, are we just going to ignore that hydraulic press gif that Ramond put on his channel showing how he's going to get crushed and squeezed out like a piece of sushi? That was some great intro from the runners.
That was great. Yeah, I just had to not let it interrupt me. Otherwise, chat may have lost track of how to get here.
Win games, be good at rando. You know, the usual.
Yeah, and we've got guys here that are very, very good at rando. So,
I like it. I'm excited. Hopefully, we will be joined later today on comms by someone else, but until they show up, we're just not going to worry about them. It'll be a surprise cameo appearance, if anything. But hey, we got me. We got Philion. We got...
Yep.
And I'm hearing talk in chat that Ramond doesn't usually use a Sprite. He's putting one on specially today to be Psyduck against the electric type of Pikachu.
Interesting decision. I mean, I've seen worse. I've also seen better. Interesting regardless.
Do we have any good, like, rock-type emotes? Or, not emotes, sprites in Link to the Past Randomizer?
I don't believe we have any Pokemon-related ones.
Alright, well, I guess Pikachu's undefeatable then.
Yeah.
As for, you know, the actual race we're having, today, all dungeons key sanity, which sometimes sounds like a really good idea. And sometimes you get into it and you just go, oh god, why are we doing this? A lot of it, you know, depends on those Aga Tower keys. Where we end up finding them, you know, do they end up both in the Light World, in which case, great, we've got them. Does one of them end up in the Moldrum 2 chest, in which case we hate everything about this video game and we never want to play it again? Let's find out.
Looks like we've got a standard start as well, which I'm with the uncle. I thought this was open mode because I forgot to double check that detail.
Yeah.
But we do have a sword as well. We can see that on the tracker. We could see it on the screen. And even though this is key sanity, we're finding that ever so useful Hyrule Castle key somewhere in the first few checks.
Alright, so as the runners go through escape, you want to talk about pumping? We don't actually have to. We don't actually have to.
It exists. It saves frames. In general, it's just a pretty big meme.
Yeah, it'll save you, what, 2 seconds maybe over the course of escape if you do it perfectly, and lose you a ton of time if you do it wrong. Although it is, the strat a lot of runners are going to go for to save those extra frames in the one really linear non-boots part of this race. Of course, we are going to be mainly focused on how many guards and rats and snakes can we kill, and can we get a bomb drop out of them? And yes, we will be.
I didn't catch the first drop there, but it's obviously something in a bomb price pack.
Yeah, so that first drop was a small heart, which doesn't tell you a lot. But when the next 2 drops are a fairy and a full magic jar, that means we are in kind of the variety really good prize pack. And pretty soon we're going to see an 8 bomb drop come from killing guards and rats, which is exactly the kind of thing we want to see.
Yep. 8 bombs will set you pretty well for the early game.
Or I'm sorry, guards and snakes.
Yeah. Rats are a separate prize pack, which could be the same one, I guess. Could be randomized that way, but not likely.
No, they're going to be a separate one. For about a year now, we've kind of kept the enemies sharing a prize pack the same, but the different prize packs are shuffled between the groups. Which gives runners a little more information when they're trying to farm for drops about what things they can use to get the drops they want.
So is it not actually allowed for the rats to just be shuffled into the same prize pack as the guard snake duo?
Correct. It's not.
Okay, I didn't actually realize that they were forced to be separate.
Oh, it used to be until about V31, and then they changed it. And many people, don't keep tabs on that. I do, because I care about drops a lot.
Yeah, it's like, I knew they brought back the vanilla prize packs. I just must have missed the details on how they were randomizing it.
All right, simultaneous big key grabs, pretty much. And boots in the castle.
So, remember when pumping wasn't a big meme? Yeah, those days are over.
Yeah. All right, I'm happy. I don't even care where the castle tower keys end up being. I'm happy with this race. Let's have fun.
Yep. And now, even if they don't get deep enough into that prize pack for the 8 bombs, they can just bonk that cracked wall in the back of the sewers and get the test that way. Boots are a wonderful, wonderful item.
Yeah, a couple notes on the boots for viewers who might not have done a lot of math about how fast you can move with them. Anytime you're dashing more than about 4.5 tiles, it is faster if you spend the time to charge with your boots. But if you can walk diagonally, it's generally still better to do that. And of course, trying to dash like 2 tiles long is generally not going to save you time because you spend a good second warming up to charge the boots in the first place.
Right. And good boots usage in that regard is really one of the marks of a good player. You watch a good player use the boots, you watch an average player use the boots, and there's a massive difference.
Yeah, in addition to kind of knowing where the boots can save you time. Oh, look, there's our 8 bomb drops. In addition to knowing the distances over which the boots will save you time, the good runners are going to know where to start their dashes so that they can keep those dashes going for long enough where they can set up the key dashes where they have to. And importantly, there's a delay of a few frames after a screen transition before you can start using the boots. The good runners are going to be able to start dashing immediately after that delay. Less experienced runners are going to enter the room and stand still for a second while they're waiting for that delay to clear.
I just want to say, Ramond has been significantly unlucky with the 50-50 drops on the snakes. Was not able to get deep enough in that prize pack for the 8 bombs. But
it's funny. By the time he entered the castle, he already had 3 of the 5 needed drops in that pack. And then they just dried up.
Yeah. Real lucky for him on those boots, though. The only real value back there was that Palace of Darkness big key, which is going to be absolutely required because this is all dungeons. but doesn't have those bombs for Kakariko Village.
Oh, baby, there's a hammer in the sanctuary.
Hammer is fantastic weapon. A lot of people don't like the hitbox, but it's not that hard to learn to deal with, as small as it is.
I mean, I've been told and told people that it does tempered sword damage, which will defeat a lot of the weaker enemies in one hit. That desert small key is really attractive. Makes me think we might, with the boots, be seeing an earlier plate over to desert as soon as we have access.
Yeah. And then chat's also reminding me, one of the quirks of prize drops in this game, if you dash through an enemy, it won't drop anything.
Mm-hmm.
And Ramond did a lot of that in Escape, which is a big reason that he didn't get through that prize pack for the 8 bomb drop. And that's actually a quirk used in the vanilla game. At really high levels of no major glitches speedrunning, there are some enemies you'll intentionally dash through just to set up better prize drops as far into the run as Turtle Rock.
Hey, Ramon found some bombs in the lumberjack cave.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing him grab those.
So
he will get some off the tree pole here in effect.
Oh, that's good to see. Quite honestly, I was hoping that we would see a required progression item in the lumberjack cave, just because that forces the Aga Tower keys to show up a little earlier. And in this all dungeons run, you do want to see those and kind of avoid that ice rod hunt. So that's too bad.
Yeah, because that second castle tower key essentially just blocks the one item in Lumberjack if you've got Dark World access otherwise. So that can be a real pain to find. And one of the big hallmarks of this mode, and really the reason it's been so popular with runners throughout the league playoffs when they've gotten to actually choose their modes, is it's going to be more of a full clear type of game, specifically because of the hunt for all those keys, like these castle tower keys we're talking about. So execution wins the day more often than not, and if you're doing everything to begin with, you're less likely to get burned by one skip.
That's right. Ooh, there's a moon pearl in the well. Ramond gets some bombs in Blind's hut as well, which would have bailed him out if it came down to that. We're also seeing our first of 4 potential Turtle Rock small keys. Our second in the well. Okay.
Yeah. Those are good items to have. 2 keys actually can get you all the way to Laser Bridge if you really want to. The logic doesn't say that, but it's certainly possible. And the 4th key essentially gets relegated to fetch quest status on that lava chest in the vast majority of seeds.
Alright. Quake in the check-in hut. Potential access to either Misery Mire or Turtle Rock, though, of course, without things like mitts, we are quite a ways off from getting those dungeons. And there is our Swamp Palace small key. So that's another of those singletons out of the way already.
Yep. Only one of those, and you cannot get past the first door in Swamp Palace without it. So, very easy for a seed to turn into a hunt for that single key as well.
So, coming up on 10 minutes in, Gammachoo's basically done with the village while Ramond is still checking a couple other things. This is a commanding lead. Is this the end of the race right here?
Well, if that race game was something, then that could have been.
If that race game was the Triforce, maybe, but
yeah.
No.
Gammachuu did lose a couple seconds, even with those boots, to blind checking the race game and just assuming that it was probably something and saving and quitting out. But this being Key Sanity, and you need all the keys, Ramon's making the exact same play here. But yeah, it's, a few seconds behind at this point, this early in the game. There's been no real room for divergence yet because everybody's making the very standard early game checks. We'll see something happen in a bit, though, once we get past the South Shore.
Yeah, at this point, I would not be surprised to see a glove show up in this area, which could send the runners into different parts of the Dark World. Alternatively, a bow would be... Well, I was going to say a bow would be great, but we'd also need an Eastern Big Key to finish that dungeon.
If we get a bow and a glove, we can go to the Palace of Darkness. But zero key pod... Yeah.
I respect that map avoidance game on Gammachuu's side. Sees the map there, says, you know what, this is AD keys. It doesn't matter, I have to beat every dungeon anyways. I'm not even going to bother with that map.
Yeah, maps are super low value in this mode compared to normal key sanity. Because the big thing, like you said, you've got to clear all dungeons. And you can learn what the green pendant is by talking to Sahasrara. Learn what the 5-6 crystals are by talking to the Dark World Bomb Shop vendor. And both of those are normal key sanity features. So the only real advantage to knowing what the rest of your pendants and crystals are is planning around potential progression for a pendant in Ganon's Tower.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Speaking of keys, we did see Turtle Rock Big Key in the mini Mulderm Cave. That plus 2 small keys is a bit interesting.
That just makes me say, a lot.
Yeah, but without any way to reach the mountain, let alone the Dark World side of it, we're still a little ways off from that coming into play.
We also saw a Misery Mire small key, which saves time routing inside the dungeon and logically required for some of the items, but not remotely necessary for actually beating it. Ramond going for the Houlihan play, gonna farm himself up to 425 rupees by the end of this. I guess he's setting up to do all of Zora area in one swoop.
Yep. And then Gammachuu found, I believe it was a big 300 in Mini Mulderm Cave to set him right at the 500 mark.
Oh, so. That's some unfortunate time spent doing Houlihan for Ramond. These checks, of course, out of logic. Not that the runners care at the moment. If they do find great progression here, they'll just sort it all out once they get back in logic.
Yeah, at this point, it's the efficiency game, which is a really big deal. That's an interesting piece of logic there.
Okay. That's a neat place for the lamp, just sitting on Zora's ledge. It does suggest earlier flippers than we might normally see.
Yeah, but with both runners setting themselves up to make this play before the flippers, do either of them actually go back for that? I'm putting the over-under on 0.5 of them.
Yeah,
I'm taking the under, by the way.
Yeah, I think if you don't have if you don't actually have the water walks armed while you're in the region, it's a long ways to go back just for a lamp, especially when you know your dark rooms already.
It is also worth noting that Gammachuu did arm a water walk, although he used it to just get around.
He used it to get around fast. Yeah,
but
which is.
There's a heart piece and a heart container in the waterfall cave, so even if Ramond were to arm a water walk here and try to use it, I believe he would lose it to the waterfall cave.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think we see those runners go back for the lamp if they find themselves needing a fire source to actually progress, like hard requiring a fire source for something like moving the wall in Desert Palace or lighting the torches in Hera Basement.
Right.
If we get an early fire rod, I think neither runner goes back for the lamp. The time it takes to go pick up that lamp is longer than the time it takes to pull up a map of the Aga Tower dark rooms, and those mostly have torches. The hard ones have torches. Now this does mean we are more likely to see a dark Aga Tower climb, and that's getting me excited. That would be a great thing to see in the finals of the Rando League.
Yeah, because how many of those have we actually seen throughout the entire league? I personally don't think I've seen a single one.
I can tell you one happened in Cross Keys Week where JP and I did it at the same time, and we were both wrong to do it. So it'd be good to see someone do it and have it be useful.
All right, so they do exist at least. Anyways, while we were discussing that, I think it's worth calling out a bit. We did see a flute in the back of Sahashrala's hut. So that does let us get to Death Mountain for 2 checks. And you can see the top of Spectacle Rock.
Yeah, of course, old man out of logic without the flippers today. Aha! And there's a glove in Eastern Palace, so Gammachuu going to be the first runner with Dark World access.
Yeah, and I have to imagine that unless a hookshot or a magic mirror shows up in the next couple check, or I guess really the next check for him, that it's gonna be the Dark World over the mountain for him.
Yeah, it's too bad we don't have a little more access to stuff in the Dark World. We can do overworld checks just fine. But we don't have the mirror, so we can't do the mirror checks. And we can't really do anything in those first Dark World dungeons. First 4 Thieves, the Front of Skull Woods, but we can't beat those dungeons yet.
Right. This would be a wonderful setup to go in full clear Thieves Town if this was not Key Sanity, but alas.
Man, I just noticed the green pendant in Swamp Palace thing. That makes me so much more happy that we got the Swamp Palace small earlier. Because with Pendant Swamp, that key can really elude you.
Of course, with Pendant Swamp, even with that key in hand, that now means that the hook shot and the mirror can both elude us for a while.
It does. It does. Oh, and hey, Ramond activated that flute and is headed back to the village, or got the flute and is headed back to the village to activate it. I do hope he immediately follows through on what he was doing and heads back to Eastern.
I've got to imagine that if he went to activate it right away, it's because he wants to do Death Mountain. But that's a very small number of checks up there, so he'll be funneled back to Eastern fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And he can just flute to 5 for that. Well, I say that, but you can't take the shortcut from the flute spot to Eastern Palace without a glove.
That's right! You gotta go the long way around. It sucks a little less with boots and a sword, so you can spin speed. But it still kinda sucks.
Yeah, that's actually low-key really unfortunate. But now we do have both runners rescuing an old man here. Gammachuu slightly ahead on the route, mostly because of the Houlihan that he avoided doing with that 300 rupee pickup. It looks like all he wanted was to save and quit spot.
You know, fair enough. You are always going to be getting that save and quit spot. You know that. You might as well just grab it early to get out of there. And if Old Man happens to give you an item along the way, even better.
Yeah, but now we've got Ramond climbing the mountain here. He's going to get 1 extra check here, and if this is something, this could be a way to divergence of some sort.
Ooh, just bombs.
Would have been pretty nice 20 minutes ago, but Ramond wasn't exactly bomb-starved once he got out of the castle, so. And yeah, he's getting funneled right back into Eastern Palace here with no other real options.
So
I've got to... Sorry, go on.
go ahead. No.
I was going to give Ramond props for giving all those enemies to run around while in the super speed state, because if he got hit, he would lose it. And just running around all the enemies at that speed, not easy at all.
Oh, it's so hard to control. Every day I'm like, I'm going to control it great today, and then I hit the first enemy.
Yeah, I know how that goes. We do have Gammachuu into Skull Woods. I believe that was a map in that center chest, and he's going to come steal the key here for a lot better routing of the front.
Yeah, in fact, this being Key Sanity, he kind of has to take that key so that he can clear the whole front without a save and quit. In non-Key Sanity, I don't mind that the pinball room doesn't have a small key. But in Key Sanity, when that room doesn't have a small key, it's like, oh, great. I do not want to have to fall into that room as my only access and then get stuck.
Yeah, the good news is that this isn't any form of entrance shuffle, so that pot key is always available for you to steal as long as you know to do it. And Gammachuu, pretty good at video games, knows to do things.
Oh man, video games? Are we playing those today?
Well, we're not, but these guys sure are.
I guess I'll have to play some later. Okay.
We've got a fetch
Mushroom.
quest on our hands.
Mommy!
That is an absolutely wonderful room.
That's like the alternate version of Stuck Mummy.
Yeah. Like, that's straight up my favorite room in the entirety of Skull Woods. Maybe even most of the dungeons in the game in general. Anyways, did you see what was on Bumper Ledge, or did we have the same thing?
We had the same thing, but using my magic powers, I found out it was bombs. So at least no trip back to there once we get the cape. Heart container in the C-shaped house, bringing Gammachuu to 7 total, which is not a ton, but it's, you know, enough for this part of the game.
Honestly, when you get up to the top tier of runners like this, 7 plus blue mail, which we've also got, tends to be the pretty comfortable number for low percentage things like spoiler log races.
Oh yeah, we got blue mail. I couldn't tell because I wasn't looking hard at the Pikachu sprite. But yeah, you're right. 7 blue, easy.
Yeah. Well.
Ooh. So Ramond trying to get some advantage by going the south route into Hype Cave, but does not get the mitts, which Gammachuu finds in the first chest of Thieves Town.
He does get a Master Sword and a hook shot, though.
Ooh, that's not great.
Yeah, that's probably going to send him back to Death Mountain without the mitts, which he's going to lose out on a lot of efficiency there.
I mean, maybe it sends him up to Death Mountain and he gets an early Thieves Town big key and heads back to the dungeon quickly. That would be great to see. We are getting a map tweak. Crystals in Turtle Rock, Skull Woods, and Misery Mire with a pendant in pod. And I think we learned our red crystals were Eastern Palace and Desert Palace. So we're just waiting on information of one more pendant to know where everything is.
Yep, all completely accurate information there. And we also saw Gammachuu get his second sword, the third we've seen overall out of Thieves Town. So Tempered not going to be hard to find for either runner here, I don't think.
Yeah, that's always nice to see. Ramon's gonna miss it for a bit, I think, but will eventually stumble onto it. We're not gonna see a weird disparity in terms of swords for this whole race.
Right. At most, we might see one runner find a gold sword in a real out-of-the-way location and save very marginal amounts of time, potentially.
This is finals of Rando League. Who even wants the gold sword?
I mean, getting the 0 cycle kill on Trinex is pretty nice.
It is pretty cool when you do that. You're right.
But as far as time saves with the gold sword goes, that's really about it.
Cold Stare is marginally faster, but not worth.
Yeah, like everything else is about as marginal as that. So it's sort of, you take it if it's in your way, but you're not going to go out of your way for it.
No, you're not. Oh, so Ramond is doing a good play here. He's playing by the numbers. He's saying, okay, I just unlocked Spectacle Rock, I just unlocked Death Mountain with the hookshot. I'm going to head over there. I was worried because he was putting off the mitts. He's getting the Fire Rod from Paradox Cave. That's actually really important. That'll send him back to the Dark World.
Yeah, and that'll give him 2 extra items and a crystal out of Skullwoods in one go there. And there's a bow, so...
Good. There's a mirror. Okay. There's the GT Big Key. All of this stuff is important. He's going to lose a little efficiency because he didn't come here with mitts, but this is not actually going to wreck him. This is really good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think every single item in that Paradox Cave was either really good or a heart piece. So...
Also, we got the Fire Rod. We still don't even have the flippers to go grab that lamp from Zora Ledge. We're going to be doing dark rooms all day long.
I'd say that you love to see it, but in this case...
I do. I 100% do. Dark rooms are my favorite sequence breaks in all of Rando.
Look, I'm with you. We're just not going to be seeing it.
No, in Aga Tower, we are going to at least see them light the torches, I hope. If one of these runners climbs Dark Aga Tower without lighting torches, I am going to lose it. Just from the sheer brilliance of the play.
Okay, yeah, for that specifically, you're probably right. It's got Ramond setting up a Harapot clip here. Looks good to me, yep. And now Tower of Hera Big Key has been relegated to a fetch quest for him. Because he's going to have to skip the big chest here, but he can kill the boss and get the small chest here.
Works for me. 7 hearts on his side. Just a red rupee on the pyramid for Gammachuu.
Yeah, one less of those in the pool for him to find later. I'm sure he's utterly thrilled about that.
So there will be 2 checks left behind for Ramond in Tower of Hera. One being the big chest, which hard requires that Hera Big Key. The other being the basement, which requires the small key, which is like entirely independent from anything else in the dungeon. But importantly, that's a pendant, which is the last pendant, and means we know all our crystal requirements now.
Yep. We can see it laid out on the tracker now at this point even. We've got the 2, 5, 6 crystals in the light world, and then just run the gauntlet from Dark World Dungeons 3 to 7 for the rest of them.
So that Harapod also works out nicely for Ramond because now there's all this checking he gets to avoid at the end of the game. Trying to find like a Hera pendant big key. Gammachuu, I expect, is going to do the same Harapod play and avoid Hera Big Key in the same way. Harapod, of course, just completely changing the meta surrounding that dungeon in Key Sanity.
Right. Non-Key Sanity, it's still quite a nice time save, but in Key Sanity, it lets you skip that item. Honestly, I would almost put it on the level of something like the Hammer Jump in Palace of Darkness for importance.
Yeah.
And
Gammachuu, meanwhile, doing an entirely different game. turning in the Smith after a big world tour.
Yep, he ran that all the way around and got nothing of real note for it aside from that sword and hype cave. Checking the desert ledge here, not checking Agina's cave, which Ramond did early, and I believe it was only 20. Oh, okay, no, he's not checking that, but still only like 20 rubies in there if I recall. So,
yeah. Yeah, Ramond was a lot more thorough in some of those overworld checks right at the start. And if Gammachuu gets bottlenecked at any point, he might make his way back to some of them. Otherwise, that is kind of time sink on his end. Another Meyer small key right in Meyer's shed. All right.
We did see Quake was the medallion to open that, and Ramond did get the big key there out of, what was it, the Paradox Cave, right? So
I think he's a little reluctant to go into Meyer without a fire source for the left side.
Yeah, no fire source, no big key means that Meyer at this point for Gammachuu is a pretty easy skip, I think.
Yeah. So Ramond in Thievestown going to be able to do the front 4 chests here. Get those mitts already, plus a sword coming up soon. As Gammachuu's on Death Mountain, going to head to the east, get all those items from Paradox, and show us 6 new checks in the Dark World side.
Yeah, and this is where we'll learn whether the efficiency gain from getting that mirror and fire rod before coming to the Western Dark World, or if the efficiency gain from having the mitts when you first come to East Death Mountain will be bigger.
Yeah.
Although Gammachuu went straight to the Dark World without doing Paradox Cave.
Interesting play.
Yeah.
I don't love this. Without the mirror, with the mirror, this would make a ton of sense. But without the mirror, it's a little odd.
He's going to have to save and quit after Hookshot Cave, unless he goes into Turtle Rock. Yeah.
Well, and he can't go into Turtle Rock because he didn't open the Turtle Rock Dark World portal. So even if Turtle Rock is Quake, which it's not, it's Bombos, and even if he had Cane of Samaria, he still wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah, and I completely overlooked you can't go into Turtle Rock without a cane, no matter how many keys you have. So it's Hookshot Cave and the information, then he's just got to save and quit.
There's a pod small, at least.
That was
our desert big.
These are solid finds, to be sure. Especially
and
that was our
ether. An ether? What the? Yeah. Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
I respect that one.
All right. We're good.
Yeah. Now, is Gammachuu just going to go to Paradox Cave here with that hookshot? I've got to imagine so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's entirely possible Gammachuu just went into the Dark World, not realizing he didn't have the mirror, and he's going to make up for that right now.
Right.
So we got, a pod and desert key in terms of important stuff out of Dark World Death Mountain. So probably nothing that'll burn Ramond too hard for skipping it at that point.
No, that desert big key is really interesting, though, because the mitts plus mirror combination is entrance to that dungeon.
Oh, so and then with Fire Rod, we can beat the dungeon.
Right. We could see him pulled in that direction without the big key.
We got that small key so early that it's one of those things the runners might be thinking, hey, the game gave me this at the start for a reason.
We did, I just want to interrupt you a sec, we did see Ramond with an absolutely beautiful dash poke Mothula kill there. One of the faster ones I've seen, especially with as many of those fights as I've seen go sideways in Rando.
Yeah. Yeah. there were, what, 2 spikes that disappeared on the side of the arena? That's a pretty quick fight.
Yep.
Man, if I could fight Moth like that every single time, I still wouldn't be in the finals of Rando League, but I'd be closer.
Yeah. I guess the big interesting thing for me at this point now, Ramond did the back of Skullwood, still got to check the front where he'll find his fetch quest and nothing else of real note. Gammachoo's done on the mountain. I'm wondering where they're going to go next. Like, I've got a hunch that Gammachoo might chase the desert next with both of those keys in hand.
I think so. It's, you know, clearable dungeon, full clearable dungeon. You know it's a crystal, though that matters a little less in this case. It's kind of the obvious next play to go for. See what you get and how you can progress after that. Ramond, having beaten Mothula, of course, used all his Skullwoods keys, so he has to drop into the back of Skullwoods and is going to be forced to save and quit out of here. Fortunately, he's done most of the stuff in the area, so that's not going to hurt him too much. It just kind of takes away the opportunity to do a quick Smith chain with the mirror.
Right. Also takes away the opportunity to route in that graveyard ledge over there, but looks like Ramond's actually going to the Dark Mountain.
Yeah, this will work out well, I think, for him, except for the dead rocks. I would categorize this as like a defensive play, where you go, okay, my opponent easily could have gotten here early by doing the Thieves Town play before I did. Let's assume that they've done that, and let's go and check this so I make sure I don't lose a ton of time against my opponent.
Yeah, and honestly, at this point for Ramond, I think even putting that aspect aside, this is the efficient play for him, I think, at this point, with 6 items. We saw what was on the floating island. I believe it was junk. Plus the Turtle Rock
it is
info
6
with
quick checks.
Yeah, so I think this play just makes a ton of sense for him in general at this point. And then he can go to Desert Mire for Smith's plus Graveyard Ledge, or really wherever he wants at this point. I would expect Desert Mire like Gammachuu here, but...
Oh, there's our Ice Rod in Desert Palace, blocked behind that small key. So that's one less Ice Rod we have to find in this Alt Dungeons Key Sanity race. Still a few figurative Ice Rods to track down.
Yeah. Like, just looking over the tracker a bit, those Castle Tower keys are obvious. The Thieves Town small key could be one. And other than that, it's really just fetch quest keys, like Swamp Palace and Skullwood's big keys. I would say additional pod keys, but there's still 5 of those to find somehow.
Yeah, I'm also surprised we haven't seen 5 pod keys. I'm greatly amused at that Ether play from Team Austin as well.
I think these guys know what they're doing with it. Ramond looking for a fairy in those bushes to make the Spike Cave check just a little bit easier. But he's not skipping it. Gammachuu has this location completely isolated.
Hey, there's that Thieves Town small key you were talking about earlier, sitting on Landmo.
That's going to be reassuring to have.
Where did we get our Arcana Burna?
That was also in Paradox Cave.
Oh, yeah. It gives you a mail upgrade today. Fine. Not great, but fine.
Yeah. It's not the most impressive thing, but you'll take it.
There's a second bow over in... Help me out here. What do we call that cave?
The checkerboard cave.
I had my coffee, I swear.
Yeah, it's alright. Happens to everybody. Now, the thing I'm most interested in is, obviously Ramon's going to clear desert first here. But after that, and presumably after grabbing his silver arrows out of that checkerboard cave, will he go into Misery Mire? Because he can do everything in there except the boss.
Except the boss. It's such a good question. I mean, on the one hand, it sucks to leave that one location behind, only have to come back to it later. But it's 7 items. Where else are you going to get that check density right now in this run?
Yeah, looking over the tracker, it's like...
Ice Palace is where that's a sequence break, and without Cain, you really don't want to be full clearing that dungeon.
Yeah, Ice Palace bomb jump is still a technique. It's still a thing that people are allowed to do.
Oh, yeah.
But it just feels so much worse than doing Icebreaker.
Yeah, and it especially when you're going for the full clear, the jump doesn't help much. The Icebreaker makes the dungeon fast. So yeah, maybe we'll see Ramond do Mire. Gammachuu certainly is doing it.
Yeah, he did the full overworld clear of the region, hoping to find a Cain before coming in here, but no dice, so in he goes.
Maybe we'll just get Cain in Mire because the game is rude.
That would be such a big swing if it came out that way.
Actually, what I do want to see right now is the Eastern Palace Big Key. We've got the bow. Big Key unlocks 2 chests in that dungeon, but it also gives us access to the Pyramid Fairy at that point.
Yeah. And that's something that would be good for Ramon in particular. It would drag him to that region of the world. Gammachuu took the Smith up to the Pyramid and Catfish, but Ramon hasn't been to the east side of the Dark World at all.
I suppose not.
And then he can also route in that mushroom check if he really wants to, just to get that out of the way as well.
But no one wants to check the mushroom until we find the Cain, so we can do the fake powder check first. Because this is all Dungeons Key Sanity, and maybe that sequence break is actually worthwhile, so you can avoid the double dip into GT. Or at least avoid the progression required in GT. Hey, there's Bombos in Mire. Now we can walk into Turtle Rock and be frustrated that we can't go further.
Yep. Great item that unlocks a grand total of 0 checks, but it is my good friend the Bombos medallion. Like, that thing is my favorite medallion by far.
Why Bombos?
Because it has been so good to me over the past several weeks of playing this game.
On the one hand, okay, fair, that makes sense. On the other hand, we know it's not locking Fire Rod today.
No, but Fire Rod was locking it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
We still haven't seen those flippers to put the Zora Ledge Lamp in Logic. And we have not sequence broken any dark rooms at this point, besides the Old Man, which was nothing, and the Vanilla Big Key chest in Eastern Palace, which was also nothing. So, those flippers could very well be in something like Turtle Rock.
Yeah, they certainly could. Yo, shoutouts to Key Sanity routing of Misery Mire, where if you're coming into the dungeon with a small key, you can actually do these normally first checks last. Save a bit of time full clearing the dungeon, since you basically expect to be doing that anyways in Key Sanity. We didn't get a lot out of there, just a shovel and a pod key. But now that we're sitting at 2 Palace of Darkness keys, Wonder if that's worth making the trip to.
I thought that was the third pod key, but now that you mention it, I can't remember where the second one was.
Gammachuu, you got a screen transition after you drop off. First, you got to drop off the screen transition to find out what that was. He did just do a save and quit, I think.
Yeah, he saved and quit out of Meyer and then fluted straight here, so he had the option.
Did he just mirror?
No, he saved and quit out of Meyer.
Oh, okay. I would expect a hard reset there. But I guess not.
Chat's confirming I'm not crazy in that there was a pod small key in the Desert Palace as well, so that should bring us to 3 on Gammachoo's side. So shoutouts to chat.
Yeah, 3 pod smalls logically gives you access to a lot of the back. Practically also lets you pretty much clear the whole dungeon except for 1 chest, depending on how many times you want to make that run up the right side. Certainly you can beat Helm's Working with that and check the majority of the dungeon.
Right. Entering pod with 3 keys. If you do everything in the most, key efficient fashion possible, you pick your poison between leaving behind the vanilla big key, the harmless hellway, or the boss. And since this is all dungeons, I somehow expect it won't be the boss that gets left behind. Unless we find if we find a 4th, they don't have to make the choice, but...
Ooh, Gammachuu having trouble in the mummy hellway here. Just getting turned around a little bit. Shoutouts to that full magic drop to get him back on track.
Yeah, because he entered the room with less than half a bar, which would mandate him playing careful, if not for that full drop to let him do things. And Ramond actually going with an interesting route through Misery Mire, opening up that big door using the warp, and using that to hookshot to the bridge chest, where he's going back to the skull room from here. Or the spike room.
You talk about quick moth fights today. It's like these guys know how to play the game.
Yeah. Tempered Sword also really good at killing moths. And there's Misery Mire done for Ramond as well. And unlike Gammachuu, he can't just go clear out Skull Woods because he already did that. So I'm wondering where he's gonna go. Ice Palace?
I guess. Ramond, I know it feels like we have the flippers because you can clear all of Ice Palace and we've kind of discarded that lamp, but we do not in fact have the flippers yet.
Yeah, and once he jumped in and realized that, he opted against the sequence break there, but Gammachoo's going for it, using the bomb very smoothly to set up his fake flippers. And I think it's going to be Smiths and Purple Chest for Ramond here.
Maybe North Dark World as well.
Yeah, I think if I'm in Ramon's position here, I take the Purple Chest up there to the King's Tomb and to the Graveyard Ledge, and then just flute when I'm done, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else that would deviate him from that. And without the Book of Medora for Bombo's tablet, I don't think there is.
Oh!
You love to see that item right there.
So that is exactly what Gammachuu wanted to see. First chest in Ice Palace, just walk in, pick up the red cane. You came in here expecting to full clear it, and kind of accepting you were going to do it the slow way. But instead, you just icebreaker through this wall, get a GT small key, and you're going to get all 8 chests in this dungeon fairly quickly.
Yeah,
this will work out very nicely for him.
That's an absolutely incredible pull right there for him. It does feel a little bad to do that immediately after Misery Mire, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain too hard.
Yeah, so that means now we can get into Turtle Rock, though we can't beat that without the 3rd small key.
No, but watch that be in here as well.
I mean, you're probably not wrong. We do need the flippers to get into Swamp Palace. And we know they can't be here in Ice Palace because we were supposed to have them for this. They won't be in GT either. Just because Ice Palace is a crystal today.
And they also won't be behind any dark rooms because we saw that lamp. But like I said earlier, we have still yet to sequence break a dark room and get progression out of it.
Hey, they could be in the back of Thieves Town, which Ramond just got a key for in Cave 45.
Yeah, and he can flute right back there after he turns in this purple chest. He's actually getting the shovel check in with it, but it's nothing. Although I think it is worth pointing out at this point, and chat's actually a bit ahead of me on this one, the flippers are the last item we need to clear the seed. Still need some...
Continue.
Oh, we still need some keys like that one Ramon just pulled to clear the seed. We need one more of those Castle Tower keys. We need an Eastern Palace big key. And actually... one more Turtle Rock small key, and that's it. So we're actually quite close to go mode here.
Yeah, we are getting down in terms of things still required, which is surprising given how many checks are left, but it does mean we kind of end up potentially in an Ice Rod type hunt for, say, that last Castle Tower key. Having the first one in purple chest, which Gammachuu is orphaned, could cause him some strife. As Gammachoo's generally going to have more efficient checks to do than going back for that one item. Hey, there's the powder at the end of Ice Palace, which removes any concern the runners might have had about doing fake powder. Or skipping fake powder.
Yeah, that's really convenient. And that does get him an incentive to go back to that Smith's area, which if he approaches from the Dark World, he can grab the purple chest there.
But why would he approach it from the Dark World unless he was already in the Dark World for Thieves Town? But why would he go back to Thieves Town unless he had this big key, which is in 45, so you'd need to approach it from the Dark World? Can someone untangle that thought, please?
Honestly, I don't think purple chest is that isolated for Gammachuu at this point because the magic powder is there for the magic bat. K45 is there on the way, and that shovel spot he can mirror to while turning in the purple chest as well. And then if he finds the Book of Medora somewhere along the way to the Bombos tablet, that just makes it gravy. So I don't think it's that bad for him. He certainly got things to do first, but I don't think he'll be missing that too bad.
It depends if Gammachuu wants to go for the full clear of the overworld stuff where he gets all the checks, in which case they are close together, or if he wants to go for the greedy play of just do the quick checks while he can, in which case the other checks get a bit more orphaned. And it's hard to say which one he'll want to do. There are reasons to go with both of them. He is, of course, in Misery Mire now, which makes perfect sense. You want to go here since you can beat it?
Yeah, and this is an otherwise very isolated check for him. So that crystal can be very important. Also, we've got Chad asking if Gammachoo's going to check all of Ganon's tower for a castle tower small key. I would like to pose the question, if we don't find the second one by the time Ramond gets there, he's going to search them all, right?
Yeah. I expect once they have access to GT, both runners, they're going to check everything in the dungeons on the way to GT, but then they're going to head for the dungeon and expect to find a castle tower key there, probably clear out the whole basement.
Yeah. Honestly, the most interesting question I've got at this point is Ganon's tower small keys if it does come to full clearing the basement.
That's a good point. We've got one already. With a second, we can full clear the basement. But we do need that second.
And then we would need a third to go upstairs if we full clear the basement, right?
No, if you know what you're doing and you up the basement the right way.
If you don't open that middle door.
Yeah. And if you open the middle door in all dungeons key sanity with your second and last small key to Ganon's tower, knowing that you still need to search the whole basement for your items, I do wonder what you're doing in the finals.
Would be a very interesting play for sure.
Now that I've said that, I really hope neither runner opens that door.
Yeah, I think I've seen it opened in a race once ever, and there's our logic tying together item.
Okay. Flippers on Graveyard Ledge for Ramond. Might send him to Ice Palace, might send him to Swamp Palace. Ice certainly looks like the better option for him given the required progression there.
Yeah. Our bottle today turned out to be an extended fetch quest.
Oh?
Yeah, Sit Kid gave us the Tower of Hera small key.
Ugh. I mean, that could be worse. You can check that when you're doing GT. You don't need that to beat Tower of Hera.
Right. And Gammachuu hasn't even been to Hera in general yet. May not see him go there until GT, as you've said, but it's not isolated for him at all.
I can see Gammachuu just mirroring before GT to get that final pendant. I will say, I am a little worried with Ramond getting those flippers that he's going to get baited into a full clear of Swamp Palace, which, if it has progression, great. But left side is potentially time you do not want to be spending at this point in the race.
Yeah, I don't really like calling that baited because we are still searching for at least a couple keys. But
you're right.
You are right.
Not baited. Goaded, enticed, lured.
I will say that the left side of Swamp Palace sucks a lot less with Diver Down as anti-backtracking strats.
That is very true. If you can get the timing on that switch, you can save a ton of screen transitions. Oh look, a Skull Woods small in pot. How wonderful.
Before that text box finished popping, I was 100% expecting it to say this dungeon.
I was too, actually. There's our book for 2 more fetch quests down at Bombos Tablet and up at Ether Tablet.
Yeah, and that just continues to make that purple chest even more appealing for Gammachuu.
Small key to this dungeon? No, Castle Tower.
Very nice find, though. It means we're not hunting that.
We can't have a pod small and the pod big chest.
Right. Can't have it inside the dark maze either.
Oh, just a Skull Woods big key. So that's one Aga Tower small key. Sorry, that is both Aga Tower small keys. Each runner having found one of them.
Yep. And now it's just a matter... Ramond is obviously going to go to Palace of Darkness at some point because this is all dungeons.
Yeah.
But Gammachuu has a lot of options. Like, I keep talking about how the purple chest is actually pretty appealing for him with all the other checks that are in the way of it. But will he choose that over the dungeons?
He knows he can get to Hera, including with the basement now. Turtle Rock. We got 2 small keys and the big key very early in this run. And now we've got the cane. Though, without Gammachuu having flippers, sequence breaking Turtle Rock is maybe not too appealing to him.
Well, I mean, Turtle Rock is barely a sequence break for him at this point without the flippers. It's literally just Laser Bridge and Trinex that would be out of logic. And those are already out of logic with the number of keys he has.
Yes-ish. It's more the cane being an ice palace blocked behind the flippers.
Oh, right. I totally had a moment on that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there might be a reluctance for Gammachuu to go to Turtle Rock locked behind the cane, locked behind the flippers, when he knows, hang on, the flippers are still out there and I'm going to need them at some point.
Right. But, I mean, I guess he knows flippers can't be in Ganon's Tower, obviously, with Ice Palace. I'm trying to think. Graveyard Ledge is just such a strange location.
It is. It is. It's awkward to get to. There's no time mints.
Also, chat's reminding me, we saw this a long time ago and haven't revisited it at this point. But there is a big key on Lake Hylia Island.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen all of them except Eastern and Swamp at this point as well.
And Swamp just locks that one chest, doesn't require, or not required to finish the dungeon. So it's very possible that last key is going to be Eastern, which would be great. I love finishing dungeons.
Yeah, that would be great, but I think like even if you're Ramond at this point and you've got Swamp Palace on your mind, I think you still grab that key before going in, just to avoid isolating that one check. Yeah,
you know what feels bad? Going back into Swamp Palace after you just left the big key outside.
Yeah,
also, hey, shoutouts to Darkroom strats on Gammachoo's side.
Fire Rod makes that turtle room a relative breeze, when without it, it's probably the hardest dark room in the game. And there's a dead Helmasaur King.
He's dead.
Anyways, I know that this has come up probably dozens of times before across various different races. But why is it Palace of Darkness if it's the only dungeon with turtles in it?
Because it's a dark room where the turtles are?
There are turtles outside the dark rooms too, though.
No, but like the really notorious turtle room
is in the dark.
Yeah. Yeah. Also,
so
it's in the dark
question...
world. It's not in the turtle world. The turtle world sounds like something in Mario.
Yeah. So I guess the real question I'm trying to ask here is, why aren't there turtles in Turtle Rock?
Hey, Farimi, you want to field this one?
Yeah. This is where our good friend would chime in and give all the answers, if we had one.
Hey, look, Gammachoo's doing Purple Chest. Or rather, Magic Bat and Purple Chest strung together. That's really good on his side.
Yep, and he's going to route in K45 for that Thieves Town Big Key. He's going to route in the shovel for whatever junk was there, a map to something. He's going to route in the Bombos tablet for an unknown item. And he's still not going to get those flippers from Graveyard Ledge unless he goes back to that isolated deck. Spooky is a good glitch. Saves like 10 seconds.
I'm super impressed with both runners doing Spooky in the dark. I can do it, not in the dark, but just not having the precision of knowing where I am adds an extra layer of difficulty onto that trick.
Yeah, it's not only not knowing where you are, but in that first room, well, I guess actually, since both of these guys revisited on a second dip, they didn't need to shoot that spike with the fire rod for Spooky, so that makes it a lot easier. But still big props because, yeah, setting that up is hard.
And this is good on Gammachoo's side. He is walking through the Dark World, being thorough enough to check on K45. In the Light World, gonna get his Thieves Town Big Key.
Yep.
Just flippers on his side that he's kind of missing or behind on.
Yeah, flippers, and then he'll also need that Eastern Palace Big Key and a Turtle Rock Small Key.
Ramond.
I thought he was going for that.
I want you to go northeast and get the big key off the Ramond.
Yeah, I thought he was going to, but then he turned back west.
Ramond. All right, it's fine. I'm not sad. For those that missed it earlier, there is a big key sitting on the Lake Hylia Island.
And there is a 50-50 chance that it is the Swamp Palace Big Key, because there's only 2 remaining.
Hey, Gammachuu dropped the purple chest. That's fine. The purple chest will teleport to your location very briefly when you mirror into the light world.
Actually, chat's reminding us, we did see Hera pot to sequence break it. We have not seen a Tower of Hera big key. So 1 in 3 chance that big key on the Hylia Island is Swamp.
Oh, yeah. I've just been assuming the Hera big key is in GT, but you're totally right. It could be there. There's another pod key in...
That was Turtle Rock, friend.
That was Turtle Rock. Oh. Okay. That really makes Turtle Rock an attractive full clear, or near full clear, just leaving behind the lava chest.
Yeah. I've got to imagine that Ramon is going to try to save that one for as late as possible, though, and clear out the other main overworld dungeons first.
Yeah, if you can avoid the mountain climb, it works out nicely. The extra mountain climb, I should say.
Right. Just the standard Turtle Rock into Ganon's Tower route.
Yeah, Gammachoo's going to do Thieves Town here, and then this would be the only good time to check Graveyard Ledge. I expect we'll see him head over there after.
Right, especially because he should still, if I recall correctly, have King's Tomb to route in with it.
I feel like Gammachuu did King's Tomb early, like right after he got the mitts.
Possibly. That was like 45 minutes ago at this point.
There have been a lot of checks.
Okay, and chat's saying he did King's Tomb, so I'll take all you guys' word for it. And Ramon is going with the anti-backtrack diver down strats.
Oh, no.
Has flooded his key. Very tragic, no. I'm sure.
Remember when we used to reset entire runs because we flooded the key and we were just done with the game because we had done something so foolish?
Yeah, everybody gets one of those.
I'm so glad we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. Legit, the best part of Diver Down is that it can be done with bombs if you need to, instead of the Cane of Samaria. So even if you flood the key by complete accident without the cane, you can still recover it.
Mm-hmm. If only it had a better name.
Yeah, I can't speak for that one, I'm afraid.
Samaria. What does that even mean? It's just a collection of syllables.
Obviously, it's a Japanese LR thing, and it's supposed to be the cane of Somalia.
Is that a thing? Is it a country known for cane? I don't know, man. Maybe it was in the 90s. Oh, look, Ramond has to walk by the big chested swamp palace there.
Oh no, how tragic.
Some chance we could have had the big chest for it, or the big key for it.
Well, here's more Diver Down. This one saves, I think, like 4 or 5 seconds compared to
especially when
routing.
you're not draining the water and kind of skipping a run down that hallway. That's a big time save. I also want to shout out the way Ramond slashed his sword, held it out, and then stopped holding it and re-slashed. He needed to slash again so he could keep moving, but by interrupting the slash, he saves himself the charged spin attack once he gets hopped down. So it's like a small time save, but it feels like a significant one to you.
Yeah. Like, those sort of things that feel a lot better than they are the most fun ones. Like, yeah, I'll save 1 second every time if it means not having to spin. And then I'll lose like 3 seconds to failing a bomb jump or something.
Yeah, we don't worry about the time we lose, only the time we save.
Well, Gammachoo's on his way to get his flippers. So, that's a good thing. He's got his Thieves Town blind is dead too.
There's a big key to Hera. All right.
So 50-50 on what that big key on the Hylia Island is now. And all things considered, it's very likely to be the Eastern Palace one. Like, I think those odds are a lot more than 50-50. Just because the logic behind the Swamp Palace big key is that the dungeon itself doesn't care about it. Just that one big chest does. So that key could be literally anywhere. Might be in Ganon's Tower big chest for all we care.
Yeah, exactly. If the game has given you this earlier, it does increase the odds that it's going to be the thing you need to progress. And there it is, Eastern Palace.
Okay, so once Ramond finds that second castle tower key in the Palace of Darkness, you'll be in go mode.
Oh, baby. And what does Gammachuu need for go mode? Just that eastern big key off of the island?
With that flipper pickup, yeah. That's all he needs.
All right. So, let's break down what these two runners have to do still. Obviously, both still have to do GT, Castle Tower, Turtle Rock. We're looking at just Eastern and Pod on Ramond's side, and Eastern, Hera, and Swamp on Gammachoo's side. That Hera clear is going to be super fast.
Yeah, I think we're talking something on the order of like 40 seconds from the time he enters to the time he grabs that pendant.
Ramond is going to be probably a little conservative with keys here in Pod until he gets that Aga Tower key from in the back.
Now, the big question I've got here is Gamma just got his Turtle Rock small key, which I neglected to mention earlier when we were asking about his go mode. So knowing where that big key is on the Hylia Island, but not knowing that it's Eastern Palace, how many checks does he make in this dungeon?
Oh. Sorry, can I have an easier question? Like, what's 1 + 1? Like, I don't know. And it is very important. I think Gammachoo's behind on time right now, and he does have to make up some of that time, but how much of this dungeon are you prepared to skip when you're still a big key away?
Yeah, my first inclination is that we probably see a hard left side skip from him. But yeah, if he's going south here, he'll check the flooded chests, probably with diver down to save a little bit of time there. He'll check the waterfall chests and just skip left side.
Yeah, all three of the back chests, once you have diver down, are essentially free. 100% you check them, but time is not on Gammachoo's side here. Yeah, okay, he's going to the back. This is good for him. The big test now is going to be, does he go back into the dungeon after beating Argus, or does he say, hang on, I just got a big key. The eastern big key is now 50-50, except better than 50-50, as we talked about. I think it will make sense for him to just go straight for that key.
Yeah.
As long as he knows about the big key. He saw it, right?
He does. Yeah, he saw it. Also, we were talking earlier about how Ramond saved the sword spin there by canceling his slash. Gammachuu showed a strat actually for that I prefer. He just walked up, grabbed the pot, and that canceled it for him.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That's Armos Knights down for Ramond. That's 6 crystals for him, 2 pendants, but he's still got to explore at least enough of Palace of Darkness to get that castle tower key. Meanwhile, Gammachoo's just got to run over to that Hylia Island after this Argus kill, and he'll be in go mode.
Alright, a little test here. Can Gammachuu get Argus with 1 silver? Absolutely, before I even finish the question. Nice shot.
Yeah. There's a lot of setups for setting up that arrow shot by just like standing facing left or right and sliding downwards, but you just pick one you're comfortable with, and Gammachoo's obviously made that shot dozens of times.
Okay, so Ramond opened the front door of Pod. This is probably fine. This is almost certainly fine.
Yeah, he opens front door. Sorry, keep going.
Oh, I was just going to say, he has to spend 1 more key to get to the back area, and he's probably planning on doing that. He just has to make sure he doesn't spend any keys either getting into Harmless Hellway or getting into Dark Maze. If he hammer jumps into Dark Maze, he can get his last Castle Tower Small. That'll be go mode. And then he can use his last remaining key on the boss. Alternatively, he can do this, go for the boss right here, and then there's basically no concern about how he spends his keys. He's going to do it the right way no matter what. This is good.
Yeah, especially because this is something he has to do regardless, and the back is not a very long trip from the entrance.
Yeah, especially since he made the, in this case, correct call of opening the front door. A lot of the times we'll see people try to route around the front door by doing right side over and over and over, and I think that makes sense earlier in the race where you're expecting to try to get as many checks out of Pod as you possibly can in one trip. Here, for Ramond, this is his second last dungeon, pretty much. And he has the ability to clear Turtle Rock. Like, this is a late game. This is a very late first visit to Pod for Key Sanity. And I think it does change your mindset on how you approach it.
Yeah. Especially I think the biggest factor is the knowledge that he's 1 item from go mode. So I think isolating those 2 checks, and if I get burned by it, I get burned by it, adds rando for you. Feels really bad on one of the biggest stages we've got for this game, but you got to do it. And there is a dead Helmasaur King, while Gammachuu is not very far from, just one room away from the Armos Knights. So now Ramond does have the very valid option of not going back in.
Oh, I hope he goes back in. There's 4 checks. Just sorry, not 4. 6 checks he can do just with one small key.
And there we go. He's going back in. So Gammachuu has his 6th crystal now, is in go mode, just has to do the 2 mountain dungeons and Ganon's Tower. And then Aga afterwards. Ramond's got to get to that big chest so that he can get up to the castle, or the mountain dungeons as well, excuse me. Words are hard.
Oh, right. It is in the big chest. Ramond's going to save time by not having to navigate the dark maze. That will help a bit.
Yeah, but he's not hammer jumping immediately. He doesn't want to have to mirror and come back in for the 3 checks on this side.
Mm-hmm. But I still was expecting that chest to say a small key to this dungeon. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just too used to seeing a small key for Pod in that chest.
Yeah, Ramond is losing a little bit of time. I think had a little difficulty finding that first chest in the dark, but has no trouble with the second. And now he's going to hammer jump from the top here.
Oh, Ramond. There you go. There you go. Hammer jump time.
Okay, he's got the right pixels there. This should be it. Yep. And Ramond is in go mode, but Gammachuu is already opening up Turtle Rock. I think Tower of Hera is a little bit shorter than the difference between them right now.
I mean, it's going to depend on how good Gammachoo's Hera Pod is. It's weird to say that, to put it all on the weight of one trick. But if Gammachuu can just do a great boots clip into the pot and hookshot with that, easy. But there's still a ton of other stuff that can go on. We have to run through Turtle Rock. We have to do the pokey key properly. We have to do the gauntlet climb, which is technically incredibly demanding. Plus Dark Aga Tower. There is a lot of execution on the table. You know,
yes, absolutely.
How I could ask for the finals to go, like what they could come down to. This is what I hope for.
Yeah, this is similarly exactly what I wanted to see out of this race. Close, exciting, and very much coming down to the ability of the runners to play at the highest level.
Sweet. Ramond knew how to open the TR pegs. That's an important skill there.
Yeah. Also, a big shout outs to Gammachoo's teammate in chat who absolutely hates this.
If I were these runners' teammates, I would really be sweating right now. Not only are you powerless to help, you can't even shout to your teammates and encourage them. You know they're just in a box executing as well as they can on their own.
Yeah. And it's real stressful no matter what position you're in right now if you've got any sort of stake in this race. Like, we saw Gammachuu a few seconds ago in the pokey room. He was standing on top of the peg, so his sword spin hit the crystal switch 3 times. That's slow. That's really slow.
That's so much lag. It's so much lag. Every time I do it, I just get mad at myself for a good 10 seconds. Hey, you know what's fast? Dashing through Chomp Room, because you're in TR Go mode key sanity. That feels good.
Yeah, the difference between Go mode Turtle Rock and key sanity and non-key sanity modes is actually ridiculous. I love it.
Gamma just has to hold left for a while here, get on the right path, and then hold down to walk off the platform. Easy, easy, easy.
Yep. At Dark Room on Rails is objectively one of the easiest ones, but sometimes from what I've seen, it's so easy that people don't learn how to recover from it, and then it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, if you get lost in that Dark Room, it is hard to work your way out of.
Here's try next for Gammachuu. Not going for any backdoor strats here. Just taking his 5 slashes on each head.
So at this point, I do think Gammachuu has a bit of a lead. Hair is quite a quick dungeon, and Gammachuu's a full boss fight, and what, 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms ahead?
Yeah. I think once you factor in Tower of Hair, it'll come out to about 30 seconds. But that's just off the top of my head. Haven't actually counted anything. Don't hold me to it.
Right, so 30.7 seconds for Gammachuu to beat all of Tower of Hair, according to Reg in 2020.
Yeah, sure. Let's roll with that.
All right, cool. Good talk. We are going to feel the time distortion happen a little bit here as Gamma might open GT before mirroring.
Yeah, but that's something that Ramond has to do as well. And he just doesn't even have to mirror. We do see him going for the back door.
Nice.
I don't think... Yeah. Very well done, but I don't think it saves any time on Tempered Sword.
It can save time. You can potentially avoid another head extension. And you start getting your hits in a little quicker. Ramond unfortunately lost some of that time back as he had to do the extra fire rod shots. Here's Gammachuu lining up a Herapot very quickly with a bonk, placing the bomb.
He's having a lot of trouble with this, though. He needed exactly 1 pixel to the right from where he was. Yeah, this is good. Had to do the boots turn there.
I do the runner's pause like that all the time.
I actually know the specific setup he was doing. He was trying to position the chests that he hadn't opened to a very specific spot on his menu to get that line up.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Specifically, he wanted the very last pixel of the chest to exactly line up with the far right of his menu. And that's like the only Herapot setup I can actually explain.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
But here we go. Ramond has the tower open. Gammachuu's still in his pending grab, and Ramond enters Ganon's tower first.
Hey, you know what? There are 22 checks in the basement of Ganon's tower. We are not doing any of them.
You'll love to see
it. Climb.
I would expect that counter to remain at 0 out of 27 the entire way through.
Yeah, I don't think... I mean, both runners obviously in go mode, but also just feeling the pressure. And there's a thing you do at this point in a race where you start thinking about the paths you took, the paths your opponent might have taken, everything required to get to this point. And I think both runners are going to come to the conclusion that even if their opponent diverged a bit, probably still ended up in here around the same time. And they were right.
Yep, and that's exactly why this mode is so popular among the teams that made the playoffs. Execution wins the day, and whoever plays cleaner will take this race at this point. They are close enough that I can say that.
Oh, some good fire rod shots from Ramond in the third room of the gauntlet. Fourth room's usually pretty easy. You can just dash through. Getting shot by the laser doesn't matter a ton when you have 14 hearts of red mail.
Yeah, getting hit with that spark doesn't matter very much either, but it does slow him down.
It does. Here comes the Lanmo 2 fight. If both runners going to be looking for the 1 cycle here. Ramond gets it with 3 well-placed silver arrows. Gammachuu entering the same super tile.
This is really close at this point.
Oh no, Gamma!
Gammachuu.
Oh no!
somewhat recovered, but still needs an extra cycle here. Oh.
Okay. That is a stellar recovery, but not time that Gammachuu is in a position to lose right now.
Yeah, could have been a lot worse than it was, but still bad.
Fortunately, plenty of magic for both runners, so they don't have to worry about conserving their fire rod shots because, you know, normally you'd see lamp usage in that first torch room. We left the lamp back on Zora Ledge. We don't need that.
Yep. I had the over-under on one half of a runner grabbing the lamp, and I still took the under. That lamp, not a required item at all if you're good at the game.
Ramond getting, of course, that full magic refill. Gammachuu going to have to pick that up as well. We got 2 or 3 bottles, depending on the runners. Chat's saying, like, a red potion, a fairy, a bee. But I don't think either runner's going to need those.
Yeah, not at all.
The anti-fairies.
Also, keep in mind that we've still got to clear Aghanim's tower after this, the Light World tower. If we see either runner drop in and get called a dingus at this stage in the race, that's going to be critical time loss.
It would be, yeah. Right. Ooh, Ramond missing some shots at the start of this Aga 2 fight. Again, an important place where you can just start bleeding time if you're not handy with it. That's 4 hits total now.
That could have been a triple, but the timing just didn't line up well, but there we go.
Gammachuu getting a double on cycle 1. Now at 3 hits, Gammachuu does have the opportunity to shave off some cycles here. Ooh, doesn't quite get it.
Did that count as a double?
I don't know. I guess it did. There's a triple,
Yeah.
so I think Gammachuu saved a cycle?
I'm pretty sure that was the same cycle there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 4 for each. Okay.
That's confirming.
Slightly different order, but still the same 6 hits. So Ramond has been able to maintain his lead so far.
Enters the tower at 133.26.
If this was a straight Aga Tower climb with nothing weird going on, he'd keep this. But this isn't a straight Aga Tower climb. This is a dark Aga Tower, which a lot of runners don't spend a lot of time practicing. This is going to come down to how well can you line up your torch shots, how quickly can you get them. And Ramond gets that one right away. Great shot.
Yep. And as long as he stayed on the same floor, that torch would remain lit for the next room, but going up to the 4th floor, he's back in the dark.
The real challenge is going to be in this next room. Here, the room with all the pits. There's the torch. He gets it first shot. Nicely done.
Yep, and then, like I said, still lit, so makes finding that key guard real easy, and he is out of the dark.
These guys make it look easy. That is what I expect from players in the finals of the league.
Masterfully done on Ramond's side. And Gammachuu in the same position here, getting it just as easily. About 20-second difference entering the tower. I would expect it to remain at that point, exiting the tower.
Look at that. Exactly 1 floor apart, runners. Oh, Ramond almost taking a fall. That's a nasty room to take a fall in. The camera scrolls way slower than you want it to as it sends you back.
And here we go. Sorry.
I was just saying hi to Zelda.
All right.
Bye, Zelda.
Yeah. And hello, Aghanim. Meanwhile, Gammachuu now entering the same cutscene. It's worth noting that the RNG of the randomizer, assuming that these runners don't miss a shot, they'll have the same number of blue balls. So no time to save or lose here unless you play badly.
Shoutouts to that spin speed. Or hook speed off the stairs. Gets you through the room slightly faster. I think we're at 2 blue balls already.
Yep, that's a number that you don't want to see that early, but first shot after every lightning is guaranteed to be a reflectable shot, at least.
Now, we weren't tracking this throughout the climb, but it is worth noting both runners do still have more than 4 arrows, in fact, with some buffer. That's very important. It means we're not going to have to rely on any silverless spins in the Ganon fight. It'll just be how well can you do your phase 4.
Yeah. I believe that there was a 5-arrow pot in the Circle of Pots room that both runners picked up. Yep. And there's Ramond dropping into the fight at 136.51. And I think Gammachuu is lagging, but has Aghanim down, so just a few seconds behind here.
Both runners hoping for the 1-on-1 in the Ganon. Ramond gets it with the spin off of the Trident, and then just using hookshot iframes to dodge these fire bats. 12 hits in both of phase 1 and phase 2. Nicely done. We're through the hard part of the fight.
Yep. Look for him to use, or not use the torch glitch in this case, to try to set up a free double or triple hit after. And here's Gammachuu. Can he get the 1-on-1 as well? He got the Trident spin. Looks like he's got it.
On getting a double before that torch goes out. Then getting Ganon stunned in the center of the room with 2 torch hits for another double. That is how you do phase 4.
Very clean. And the timers did desync here a little bit, but Gammachuu a bit more than 8 seconds behind at this point, especially with the warps. And that is Ramond taking the race in first place with a time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, 16 seconds. And successfully defending Team Awesome's league championship.
Okay, I'm just gonna go breathe now.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of room to breathe now that Gammachuu has the pig exploding as well, and just gonna have to cross that bridge himself to close out this season of the league. And that is Gammachuu finishing with a time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, 49 seconds. So just 33 seconds difference overall in the final match.
Congrats to both runners here.
Yep. And we are starting to be joined by people. We've got league admins Dante and Fear Agent also being part of Team Kappa, and we're joined by 1UP as well. I think the runners should be here shortly.
I was just watching the last 10 minutes right now, and they look pretty good.
Yeah, we've got both the runners in here as well, so I just want to start out by saying GG's to both of you. Absolutely fantastic race. Definitely worthy of being the final here.
Yeah. Oh, GG. Yeah, GG.
GG's to you, Ramond.
So I guess really, I'm not even sure where to begin with this one. Like, there was a little bit of route divergence. I saw the two of you discussing it in IRC. A lot of it just stems from where you started in the Dark World and how you routed Death Mountain after that. But
yeah,
I think it came out ultimately a wash in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I felt pretty good getting those mitts in the Thieves Town area. It was Thieves Town. And then I found Hookshot. And, pretty good, right? I could go ahead and do Death Mountain, clear all of that with mitts on hand. and did really awkward routing up there that shouldn't have happened. I was hoping to find the Hera big key, so maybe, you know, if I didn't find Mirror through all those checks, I could clear in one go. But that didn't happen. But, I mean, overall, this seed was pretty friendly. It wasn't too bad.
Nah, 140 for not even 140 for AD keys.
Yeah, that's amazing. We don't see most non-AD key races happen in 140. Well done, guys.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it was really a very quick and sick seed. I was very worried about that final Agatawa key actually, so I wasn't sure where to look first, whether I should rush GT or like rush Shuttle Rock, but then it just appeared and things fell into place from then on.
Yeah, Ramond, don't you know you're supposed to go to GT after clearing out Amasor and leave that key there? Come on, man.
Wait, Aga small key was your go mode?
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. You did pod pretty late then.
Yeah, I tried to hold it off as long as I could because of the lack of small keys. So I thought, okay, pod is not so likely to have crystal progression, and it might have a castle tower key in the end. So yeah, I didn't go there till the very end actually.
Yeah, nicely played. It paid out for you.
Thanks. Wow.
So, Ramon, I think the big thing that chat's wondering about at this point is why Psyduck?
Well, I wanted to have an excuse in case I lost that electricity beats water in Pokemon, I think.
I knew you were going to say that. I kind of figured.
But I think nobody really expected it because I always use like the Tunic Color Link sprite, and yeah, I wanted to make it like a bit more consistent kind of with Gammachuu sprite.
I guess my Thunderbolt here wasn't strong enough.
Well, I also Thunderbolted back, so maybe I kind of repelled it.
Oh, and in case anybody's wondering, me and Ramon decided to go ahead and use Ether just to make Yoshi here happy. What's up, Yoshi?
What's up?
Yeah.
Oh.
I
And
kind of
welcome.
quit mentioning people coming in after the tournament admins came in, but we do have every member of Team Awesome and Team Kappa in here with us. So, yeah, I'm just still trying to just overall process that race, and it was fantastic. That's all I can really say about it.
I'm not too used to these friendly seeds. This was a really friendly AD keys. You know, I got to go mode TR and GT. The only really awkward part for me in this seed in particular was because I finished kind of doing all of Village of Outcast, Thieves Town, and getting the kind of late mirror. I didn't really feel like, you know, going back to do those awful mirror checks and purple chest, magic bands, like, it just doesn't feel good. I'd rather hold off until I get the Thieves Town big. And, of course, ended up being K45, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt so kind of weird to go back.
The good news is that you were able to route in pretty much all of those with the purple chest. Bad news is that that still isolated the graveyard ledge, which also had stuff.
Oh, yeah, both mirror spots.
So apparently, Team Awesome, the check didn't clear or something. You guys didn't get my check.
No, we checked a bunch of chests.
I mean, I tried to rig this entire
The numbers
thing
still
so
coming
that
through, but
I tried to rig this entire thing so that Team Kappa could win, right? Like, come on, guys.
That's fine. I had to lose, so you know we wouldn't make it too obvious. That's why. No, but
Hitsu, what's it feel like? Yeah, Hitsu, what's it feel like to be back-to-back champions? First, you had the lane carry you, now you've got Ramond carry.
I got completely full carried in the finals, and it feels really being like a megawatt. I'm joking, guys.
No,
Yeah, it's really good, but can I say it's Rando? Both teams could won this,
yeah, definitely.
and all of of us are good players, except me, who cannot icebreaker, right?
Even those of us who've made it this far, we're still learning, right? I mean, icebreaker is a really hard skill.
Yeah, don't worry. Apparently, I can't even potion glitch either.
Yeah.
Well, how's it feel to be champs, guys? You did it. I mean, you had an excellent season, right? 14-0, and then the reverse sweep on Team Kappa. That's not easy to do.
Oh yeah, I still can't believe it actually. I always tend to screw up like in important matches, like the past 2 times I had my power games. I don't know, always something strange happened which then completely threw me off guard, and so I don't know, I got a bit more lucky now in the finals. But I still can't believe it, kinda.
Well, you're gonna have to start believing it real quick. But can we expect Team Awesome to come back and try to make it a 3-peat next season?
I hope. I'm not sure what Yoshi and Ramond are doing after they carried me. Maybe they replaced.
Hitsu, you're out now. See ya.
Sorry, I just have to say again, look at those collection rates. 143, 140 for all dungeons key sanity. What happened in the video game today to let that take place? Jeez, come on. Where are these seeds for me? But no, great job to both runners. This was absolutely wild to watch. Thank you so much for this execution exhibition.
I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better game 5, right? Like, that was very, very stressful as a team member to game 5. I'm sure it was exciting for everyone else, but I had to walk away a couple times because my heart was racing.
Yeah, as I can definitely say that as a viewer, this is the kind of game I live for right here.
Yeah, I'm just really glad I, managed to make it this close. Because one of the worries I had is, if I lose, I hope it's not by like 10 minutes or something. But bringing it down this close to about 30, 35 seconds, it feels pretty good. It feels good.
Yeah, and if nothing else, you won the collection rate game.
Hey, I'll take that.
I mean, second place. We'll take second place. We didn't make the playoffs last year. We bring in Gamma and we get second place. So,
to be fair, you guys actually carried me all the way right here. So, we almost made it, but it still feels pretty good making it this far. Definitely feels good.
Yeah, it's been quite a wild ride. Like, if you would have asked me at the beginning of the season, like, I was hopeful we'd get to playoffs, but like, making it all the way to the last game of the finals, like, yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, I'm glad we made it all this way. This was fun.
Oh, another accomplishment too. I'm kind of happy to was defeating Yoshi. I think Yoshi and Hitsuyan were still undefeated coming into the final series right here. So it did kind of feel pretty good to finally knock off one win out of them.
Yeah, I don't know quite how to say this delicately, but Ramon, you were the only player on your team to lose before this best of 5.
Yeah.
I had a draw. And Fear was mad about the draw because he had to restream one more.
Yeah. I'm always in favor of things that annoy admins by creating more games.
Yeah, Hitsu called me weak after my first loss. I still remember that day. It was very painful, but I guess I learned from it.
That are intern things, bro.
I hope you called them weak after that loss too.
I couldn't. I'm not such a person.
Uh,
Everything can happen. So
Yeah, it's
you
fun,
learn
though.
from it and you carried them through this best of 5. That's what matters in the end.
Yeah,
Right?
completely. Thanks for that, guys.
Did Team Kappa? Did you guys have a favorite? Or excuse me, Team Awesome. Did you guys have a favorite moment from the season? Obviously, besides winning the entire thing, was there a mode or a race or something that was a highlight for you?
For me personally, I really liked that during the not the playoffs, but what was before. I just can't remember the name of it now.
The co-op.
Yeah, that one from the 7 weeks. Like the co-op things were really good because they really also strengthened like the team bonds, and it was really fun to like play in a team against another team. And we would have probably actually also liked such a mode in the playoffs somewhere, because it will still kind of emphasize the team portion of the league,
Yeah.
I guess. So but I really like those co-op weeks actually.
Yoshi?
I don't know.
Got him.
The ice rod in my head cutscene chest, right, Yoshi?
Shh.
It was repaired today too, wasn't it?
It was.
But hey, I got my Thunderbolt now, so I'm happy.
There's that.
What about you, Hitsu?
Yeah, I also like the co-op weeks, but they were also like a final, I think, very stressful, because it was, for me, something new when people are speaking while you are running the seat and giving you informations and things. Then you have the muscle memory and things happen there. That's also a bit funny. Yeah. And I like to see maybe multi-world 2v2 or something like that in the next season, but it's maybe hard to set up that everyone has the multi-world running. But that would be maybe also a thing I like to see.
Yeah, this stuff will happen for season 3. I don't know what. Big congratulations to you guys. To go back to back is pretty dang awesome. No
Pretty
pun
lucky.
Takes a little luck for sure, but 14-0 and then again, reverse sweeps are not easy to do, and you guys pulled it off. So big shout outs to you guys. Congratulations on being the season 2 champions. I know there's a German restream going on, so if you guys would like to do that, you can, as we'll wrap up here.
Yeah, and thank you guys also so much for like setting up the whole league, doing all the administrative stuff and everything. So I know it's really a lot of work, and how much work you put into all this. So I really want to say, probably also on behalf of my team, a big thank you to everyone who was involved in this league and made this like a really big, nice journey for all of us. So thank you guys.
Yeah, I signed up for Game 5 of Finals commentary just so I could tell Fear Agent right here what a great job he did, and thank him so much for the league, because it was a great time for these past two and a bit months. I can't wait for season 3.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I guess I'll ask the same question to the Team Kappa guys. Favorite moment from the season, or mode, or anything? Was it just the fact that you got to play with me?
Oh, that was certainly a highlight. The reverse sweep in the playoffs against WJP TBB. I hope I got that right. Man, that was so stressful because like we started out with like the doubleheader, and then Gamma and I both lost, and all of a sudden we're down 0-2 and like one game away from elimination. And then just watching throughout the rest of the week as Fear and Gamma brought that back. That was quite a wild ride.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite moments here. Like I said back then, after that 2 loss we got that day, it just felt, oh gosh, this is, this is where it ends. But luckily, Fear pretty much carried us that week, was getting 2 wins out of them. And yeah, I mean, there was a lot of fun moments in this league. Co-oping too is another fun one I like. Except the what is it? The spoiler.
Spoilers, yeah.
Yeah, that one was a bit too stressful for me, but you know, we also managed to get a win out of that one. But yeah, that was fun. Something new, something I'm very not used to. And yeah, also racing against Ramond. There was a lot of racers I wanted to come across, you know, try to go 1v1, but no, at the end it was only Ramond that I ended up racing against, so I was really happy with that. And of course, getting invited to join you guys for your Agent 1-Up. Really do appreciate giving me a chance to join you guys in this journey.
Yeah, we needed an anchor, so
yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah,
for me, I just
you.
Yeah, go ahead. I just want to say it was like I just wanted to race with friends. Like that's why the league is in existence. Is Rando's much more fun when you're racing with your buds, and you know, it blew up this season to a lot of friends. So we'll see what season 3 brings. But that was, you know, the most fun for me. Is just I just like racing with people. It's
yeah, that's what makes it more fun.
First place would have been nice, but I'll take second. 64, second out of 64 is not too shabby.
Even for the, how many teams was it? 48 teams? No, 40 teams that didn't even make playoffs. All those teams had a lot of fun too, I promise. I'm speaking as representative of all of those teams because I was on one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard everyone had fun. I'm glad it was a lot of fun.
If you're taking suggestions for season 3, try 100% less cross keys. Make it even more fun.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what season 3 brings. I mean, this is the close to season 2, and I'm excited to close it all out. Honestly, it's been a fun, great season. Sad to see it end, but also very happy to see it end.
Season 3 next month, or when is it starting?
Yeah, next week. We're starting next week.
Season 3 is actually why I'm here. So, you guys want to know details on Season 3, there's one really big detail for it. It's going to be 2021. That's the only detail you get. So, thank you guys so much for putting on this show for us. And thank you, for giving us an exciting race to watch. We couldn't ask for a better finals. And congrats to every team doing as well as they did. And congrats to Team Awesome. Fear, thanks for, getting this off the ground as high as you have so quickly. To the point where you're like, oh crap, I need more help. And bringing on all the moderators and now the new admin crew as well. And we're looking forward to having a awesome season 3. Maybe we'll get a different champion, who knows? But could be a three-peat. Team Awesome's gonna have some shoes to fill there if they want to go for the three-peat and be a dynasty.
Yeah. Let me just do a quick shout out to everyone because, obviously I put this together and, there's a lot of work to it, but there's so many people behind the scenes that make this happen. Huge shout outs to SpeedGaming for restreaming us. Huge shout outs to Marty, one of our mods, and his restream crew for all the league channels. Big shout outs to all of the moderators for the league and the com mods and everyone that was doing some sort of work. The new admins, Sigma, for making such a badass website that we've got. And then of course all the runners. Like we couldn't do this without all the runners and all the excitement from all the runners. We filled our initial cap of 32 teams in 27 seconds, and that just shows that people want to play this game, and that's awesome. So I love this game. I love the community, and I'm glad to be a big part of it. And we'll see where the future holds for the league. We'll be around for more stuff, but there's lots of other things going on right now. So check out the ladder and check out the spoiler log tournament and check out Cross Keys tournament. There's so much rando going on to fill the void of the league, but we will be back. So yeah. Oh yeah, the mentor tournament, the GMP mentor tournament as well. So lots of rando.
Yeah, absolutely no shortage of that across the board. And I mean, I'm not a tournament admin. I don't moderate things. I just play and talk and press buttons sometimes. But I'm glad that there's so much of it to go around because, like you said, I love this game too. I love the community. I want to see it do well, and the league has been absolutely fantastic, and I've loved being part of it. So thanks to you and everybody behind you for making this go the way it has.
Yeah, big shouts to you guys too for doing comms. That was no joke. Like, there's lots of highlights from the league. This match, the commentating, the playing, everything about it was awesome. We couldn't have asked for a better last race to the season. So shout outs to everybody. And I'll let you guys close.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have anything more to say. Play more video games, everyone.
Yeah, I've said my piece as well, I think, and I think if anybody that's in here still has anything they want to say, floor's open.
Dante, close us out on the season.
Well, thank all of you guys for being here. Thanks to all of our volunteers, all of chat. You know, these wouldn't be as successful if chat wasn't here to watch. So thank you too. Thanks to the players, the racers, whatever you want to call yourselves. We do appreciate you guys. I'm sorry when I made the ping in Discord, I didn't actually thank the players, but obviously we need players to make a league happen. And that's what I love about this league. A lot of, individuals come together and make teams, and some of them are just good friends from beforehand, and some of them actually, bond and make new friends that kind of carry on throughout, outside of the league as well. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in, and we'll look forward to seeing you again for League Season 3 in 2021.